Looking at the Civil War from a global perspective has genuinely been an interesting experience. Much of my education, especially in history, has focused on the American history through the narrow lens of the American viewpoint. I've taken several classes that focus on the Civil War era, and none of them have really taught me to look at it any differently than as an American conflict. Even one class that focused on the economic impacts that, while very interesting, really only told the American side of that story. What I found most interesting was seeing how the process of globalization leading up to the Civil War was what really made it such a global affair, with global impacts to match. When you look at this one part of history through a larger lens like that, you're able to see how certain events in the Civil War impacted other countries. For example, England, who was very dependent on American cotton. Prior to the Civil War, they had previously looked into expanding their cotton sources to include India, but found that with American cotton being so cheap due to slave labor, it was not really a profitable business venture. However, once the South was unable to export cotton, it severely affected the British economy, which led to them sourcing cotton elsewhere, kickstarting British imperialism in India. Since I am a history major, I think it's really important for me to learn to look for these kinds of patterns in history that I otherwise wouldn't have thought to look for. I don't think I'll ever be able to see a historical event as an isolated incident. I was previously aware that these things don't occur in a vacuum, but I underestimated just how interconnected historical events can be. I've had plans to pursue my master's overseas after ASU, as I've been wanting to branch out of my studies beyond American history, and I'd like to study a bit further back than the 18th century, and I very much enjoy being able to visit historic sites. I think that this class has given me the tools to be able to study history through a broader perspective, as I will never be able to look at an event in history without thinking about its global causes and ramifications. I think as far as professionally, this class has definitely sparked an interest in more global perspective of history, widening the potential studies I'll pursue, and therefore widening my prospects after college.